I'm gonna make sure it's live on my phone.
Yeah, we're live.
Oh yes.
Yep,
Let's
we're.
go. Okay, dude.
Woo!
Oh my goodness. Y'all know what's up. It's about that time. It's about
What's up, Eric? What's up, Rima?
Shane.
What's going on?
What's up, Andy? What's going on, y'all? Elias, what's
going
up,
on?
brother? Oh yes. Dude, I'm jacked up, bro. How you feeling?
Dude, I'm great, man.
You just got back from the gym. I just sipped an entire cup of coffee. I'm wired, bro. I'm ready to go.
All right, man. Let's get after it.
Cool, dude. So, guys, as you know, from time to time, we like to pop in here and just chat with y'all. So this is really just an ask us anything type of thing. So you guys get the opportunity to just jump on here, ask us some questions, really just drill us about agency work, sales, growing your agency, getting some more clients, client retention, whatever it is, fulfillment, all that fun stuff. So,
Jacked.
yeah, keep dreaming, bro.
You can ask about it, guys, if you want to know.
Yeah, I wouldn't take his advice, to be honest. I'd be a little weary. But so while we get some more people coming on here, I also would like to talk about an interesting topic. Dude, why does it say only 3 people, bro? We just had like 8 people jump on.
I know, dude. Nobody cares.
I guess not, right?
Dude, this is a good time to start talking about the topic because it relates to the fact that people just jumped off this live, man.
Exactly. Good point, bro. Okay, so guys, I want to talk to you real quick about something that's so important, but I feel like not enough people talk about it, especially, you know, quote unquote gurus and coaches and things like that, and all these courses out there. Everybody wants to teach you, you know, tactics. And Andy says, I need to automate my process more. Bro, that's probably not your problem, man. What I'm talking about now might be part of your problem. Maybe not you specifically, but everybody wants to know the tactics. Wouldn't you agree, dude? Like, everybody wants the strategies, like how-tos, right?
Yeah, dude. It's because Andy thinks if he automates his business more, he'll get clients.
Yep. So that's the problem, y'all. Here's what you really need to understand. Okay. And I was listening to my mentor recently, and he was going real deep into this, and it just really resonated with me. So, and this is, Brian and I are perfect examples of this. So the only time, guys, that you will ever experience true growth within both yourself, like your own personal being, as well as your business, right? The only time that real growth will ever occur is when there is a deep dissatisfaction with your current situation. Yeah, I'll repeat that again. The only time you will ever experience like game-changing growth, like tectonic plate shifting growth in your life and in your business, is only when there is a deep level of dissatisfaction with your current situation. Mm-hmm. So if you guys are comfortable and you don't really feel like you need to grow or you need to change where you're at currently, then you are far too comfortable and you need to focus on growth. And this ties into the second point, which is that far too many people, guys, look at their current situation and the current problems that they're facing as excuses, right? And this is probably most of you guys. You look at your current situation, you look at the problems you're going through, you look at all the shit that's happening, right? And you're like, man, like, this sucks. Like, you know what? This is just so bad. I'm just going to not even try. So you just give up, right? Like, you use your current situation as an excuse, okay? What you should be doing instead is using your current situation, your current set of problems, your current shit that you're eating, and instead of using it as an excuse to not do anything, use it as reasons to actually go and do something, right? Like, stop using your shit and your problems as excuses to be lazy. Use them as reasons to go and actually make something of yourself. Like when you change that mindset, guys, from I'm going through some shit, I'm just going to just let it take me over, to fuck this, like life punched me in the gut, I'm going to punch it right back. Like you will feel massively empowered to actually go and do what you want to do. Right?
100%. Dude, I think it's interesting. Like, if I would have tried to do what I'm doing now a year ago, I wouldn't have been able to. And I don't think I wouldn't have been able to because of skills, because I would have been able to learn the skills. But like a year ago, I had just started a job that I loved. I was just about to get married, and like I was making more money than I had ever made at my job. And like, dude, I would have never been able to do the things that I'm doing now because they're so hard now. And like at the time I was still learning and I was still growing to a degree. I was still growing in small ways. But it was never rapid growth. It was never extreme growth. And I really didn't have any type of impetus to actually do anything great at the time in business, right?
Yep. 100%.
So people that are comfortable, if people that are comfortable are incapable of growth, question mark, no matter what, question mark. Well, yeah, Karan, because as soon as growth starts to happen, it's because of discomfort. Like there will be a switch there, right? Like I'll give you a perfect example. If you're laying in bed and it's like the most comfortable bed in the world, are you going to get out of that bed because you're too comfortable? No, you're going to get out of bed because you have to pee, or you're hungry, or you're thirsty, right? Because discomfort starts to happen. Does that make sense? Literally, like there will 100% be a mental shift in your brain. There will be a psychoactive shift called discomfort that causes you to act, right? Like that's why our brains have the ability to make us uncomfortable. Like my own brain, I make myself uncomfortable at times for my own well-being, right? So yeah, the answer is you can't grow while you're quote unquote comfortable. And I'm sure if you looked up like definitions, you could like find a way to prove that I'm wrong. But the principle is like 100% you can't move if you're comfortable, and you won't.
You won't. It's that simple. I'll give you guys a really good example, right? For those of you that follow mixed martial arts and boxing and the UFC, if you follow that at all, like I do, you probably know of a guy named Conor McGregor, right? He's a perfect example of this, guys. If any of you guys know his backstory, right? He came from Ireland. He basically is like the typical kind of Rocky story, right? Came from nothing, was a plumber, worked like 12-hour days, 2 hours back and forth to go to the job, like the typical whole thing, right? And he was so comfortable that his drive to become a mixed martial artist and become a professional and make a lot of money was so high because of his current situation, right? And then he made it to the top, and he ended up getting a fight with a named Mayweather, right? And for those of you that don't really follow fighting or anything like that, there has never been a time in history where a mixed martial artist and a boxer have fought in a professional bout or a match, right? And this was the first time it ever happened. So the end result of this was Conor McGregor ended up making a absolutely absurd amount of money from that fight. Like an amount of money he would have never made in mixed martial arts.
I think it totaled like 60 million.
Yep. It was like 100 million gross. And after all the stuff he had to pay out, he ended up walking away with like 50, 60, which is a different level of money. And since having the Floyd Mayweather fight, all he's been doing is his business, enjoying the fruits, going on vacations, eating good food, smoking good cigars, right? Spending time on yachts, partying, drinking a shit ton, just having fun. Why? Because he's comfortable. He's comfortable. Mm-hmm. Okay. That drive that was present in the Conor McGregor who was a plumber trying to escape that is no longer there.
Well, and he probably just has drive in different areas, right? Like his drive is
100%.
probably centered around building a lifestyle, right?
100%.
Driven to have better relationships at this point in his life.
Yep, exactly, man.
Andy said something interesting. That's a good story, man. I didn't realize his come up was that way. I've never heard that.
Yep. Yeah, it was crazy, bro.
Andy Hartley said, I've been too uncomfortable to where I learn too much info and get overwhelmed. That's the wrong thinking, Andy. Because ultimately true discomfort leads to action every time. Or death. One of the two. Right? You either fight or flight. Like either die or you act. So I don't think it was that you were too uncomfortable. I think it was actually that you were like 10% uncomfortable, but you were comfortable enough with your current situation that you used learning as an excuse not to act, right? Like your discomfort did not surpass the fear of massive action.
It's almost kind of similar to, Brian, we were talking about this at one point, about how people love to try and build like 7 different business models at one time so that they can say that they're diversifying their efforts, but really they're just too lazy to get really good at something. And they can't get really good at one thing, so they figure if they diversify, then they give themselves the best chance of getting something right. But really it's just laziness because they don't want to build something big.
Yep. And Andy, like, I don't mean to pick on you, but like, dude, you said like if automating cold calling and cold emailing, like, dude, the fact that you think like outreach is the problem, it's most likely because you're not doing enough of it.
Yep.
Or you're just like doing it extremely wrong, to which I would say like you should watch our training we did the other week about cold outreach. But I've never like, it's very rare that you meet somebody who like has done 1,000 cold calls and sent 10,000 emails and thinks like automation's the problem. They would come to us and say like, hey, I'm doing 1,000 cold calls and landing 50 meetings, but I haven't closed a single client. Like, help me with the meeting part. Right? Like, you don't go from like cold outreach isn't working to automation. That's not the right sequence, which makes me think that you're looking for a way to make your prospecting better or easier or less difficult.
Yep. Cool. We're getting into deep waters today, man. We didn't even expect to do that, but it's just how we roll. Let's get some questions coming in, though. I want to answer some questions. That's really the initial purpose of us getting on here. I'm all jacked up. Brian just got back from the gym. Ton of energy right now. So this is a live Ask Us Anything. So ask us some questions, y'all. What you got? Throw it at us. Sales, agency stuff. Best resources for understanding LinkedIn, Bennett asks. I will start where we did about a week or so ago on cold messaging and how to land meetings using it. This live is also going to be up on YouTube. So if you watch this on YouTube, I will leave a link down below to that training. So yeah, let's start there.
Dude, Karan asked an interesting question, and it's that at any point in our lives, do I plan to be comfortable? In business, yeah, 100%. I definitely think there'll be a point in my life. I have no clue when it'll be. I don't really care when it happens. Hopefully sometime around my late 40s, early 50s, to where I'm comfortable with where I'm at business-wise. I don't know, dude, maybe 50s, early 60s, but I do think me personally, Sebastian will probably have a different opinion on this, but like I definitely want to hit a point where I can say like, yeah, like I've accomplished what I want to accomplish business-wise, and I can put all my time and attention to being the best family man and like coach and mentor to the world as possible. And it'll be like a non-monetary thing, right? I'll just spend my days being a dad and a grandpa and learning and helping, doing charity, all work and all of that.
Papa B.
What do you think about that, man?
Grandpa Brian over here. Yeah, dude, it's funny. It's sometimes I get eerie as to how like aligned we are on so many things. Yeah, I don't foresee myself getting comfortable or feeling satisfied for a long time. Yeah. And if you ever feel like you're getting to that point, you need to talk to somebody because there's a good chance you haven't reached your full potential. I don't think most people realize how much they're actually capable of.
Yeah, man, I agree. And I think that's why it's important too to figure out like what's really the most value for you, right? Like, dude, I know people who are extremely happy making like $100,000 a year, but spending 6 hours a day with their kids.
Yep.
And dude, like, that's incredible. Like, kudos, It's just important. Like, I worry sometimes, like I talk to people and I can tell that like they just haven't come into alignment with that yet in their life. And it's a hard thing. Ben Foster said, do you look at expanding your sources of income? Not really, man. Like, I mean, like Sebastian and I are working on project number 2 really slowly, really slowly right now. But we didn't like project number 2, which we're not going to talk about. It didn't derive because we wanted to make more money.
Mm-hmm.
It really, like, honestly, dude, had nothing to do with that. It was purely just like planning for our future and ideas that we want to bring to fruition, but it had nothing to do with sources of income at all. Because like if that was the case, we could just as easily make like number 1 have more income. So I think looking for more sources is a really dangerous thing. Really dangerous.
Yep. Exactly, man. Yeah, if you haven't really maximized your current I would call it financial vehicle, don't start to think about doing something else. It's a dangerous thought. What's up, Ahmed? What's up, Steven? Brett, what's going on? Michael, what's up, brother? With no clients, should you still niche down? Asks Ahmed. Yes, you should still niche down. 100%. William, what's going on, brother? Guys, let's get some questions coming in. If you're watching this on the replay, you might want to skip ahead a bit if you just want to Q, because we kind of started off on a little bit of a rant. But what's your opinion on the person or personal brand, I'm guessing, and the guru who's just selling courses and claiming to be an expert at social media marketing?
Dude, I actually like, can I talk about that? I had thoughts about that this morning. And
yeah, 100%.
Our friend Tanner Shidester, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, Shidester, made a video about it. And I think it's super true. One, you have to see if they've done things and made money outside of selling a course.
Yep.
If they've been able to successfully build a business. And I think that's a fine line, right? Because I think some people can be incredibly good motivators and coaches, right? Like, dude, we met with a life coach this morning who helped us figure out a lot of stuff about business that's never built a business. So I think it's a fine line, but you really need to look at like their credibility, right? Number 1. And if you can't find information about them or they're scared to give you credibility, then like run. And then 2, dude, like you have to look at their fruits of what they're selling and their client results, right? Because like you could be an incredibly gifted marketer, but when it comes to teaching people marketing, you might suck at that and they might not be able to help you very much. So number 1, see if they've done things that you want to do. And then number 2, see if they've actually successfully helped people. And dude, if you buy people's course and it doesn't help you, like it's your fault for buying it. So yeah, I don't know, dude.
It's true, man. Yeah, I always tell people, I've gotten this question asked a few times now. Hey, like, what do I look for in a mentor? What do I look for in a coach, a course, whatever it is? And I would say, like Brian mentioned, one of the biggest things is just results. Like, this is not to toot our own horn. I mean, I guess it kind of is, but dude, I don't see anybody else right now producing the kinds of results that we are for agency owners. And I always say, like, just look at the results, man. Like, look at their clients. Like, what have they helped their clients achieve? What have they been able to do as a direct result of working with that person, right? And if what those results are up to your level of satisfaction, or that's not what you're looking for, then just look elsewhere. Simple as that, you know? I think the problem is a lot of people are too emotionally invested into a decision like that, which I think it is part emotional for sure.
But you can't make that choice based off of emotion.
Exactly, dude.
I can seduce anybody into giving me money.
Doesn't mean it's right.
Doesn't mean it's right. So and dude, like, it depends too on like your sequence and where you're at. Like, if you have $200 in your bank account and you don't really know what you're doing, then like a $97 course on prospecting like is probably a good investment for you. It's better than going out to eat. So depends on where you're at, dude. Like, if you are an educated person and you have solid experience and you've built a good business mind foundation and you're just missing the puzzle pieces, then like buying a course is most likely not going to give you those puzzle pieces. But if you're broke and you've never had a good job and you don't have very much experience, and frankly, like, you're still a little bit slow in this space, then dude, a course probably isn't a bad investment. The problem is you think that a course is going to teach you, one, like how to think. You think a course is going to give you a business mind, right? Because there's so much levels to being successful in business, mentally at least. Like, one, you have to have solid intuition, which comes from knowledge and experience. Two, you have to know how to think and make decisions. And then three, above that, you have to understand how to diagnose tactics and pull principles, and then tactics come on top of that. So I know that was a long answer, dude, but like, it depends on where you're at in sequence. Like, I don't think, dude, that, like, me personally, if somebody's selling like a sub $1,000 course, like, I mean, like, dude, $500 isn't very much money. I would be hard. Like, you're not getting ripped off at $500. And now if you give somebody 10 grand to coach you and you get no results from it, like, that's messed up. That's not good. But if you're crying over $500, like, you have bigger problems at play than your course.
Just drop the load, bro. That was it, man. Love it. I'm thinking of getting into the personal injury niche. Any experience or thoughts on this niche? That's an interesting industry, because if you know what you're doing, you can get good results for the attorney. They're also kind of difficult to get a hold of. So I'm going into a niche that's slightly easier to get a hold of. Not that it's necessarily easier in any other way, but.
And to be frank, like, dude, personal injury attorneys are very, very, very well educated, very sharp, very on the ball people, like, very white collar. And if you can't match that tone, and if you can't match that intensity, then you're screwed.
Exactly. How many times have we seen people that try to go after personal injury and, quite frankly, they just get steamrolled? Like,
yeah, dude, because they're making $400,000 a year, $500,000 a year, and you're making $0 a year, and you think you're going to be on the plane, it's like same plane as them.
Yep, 100%. Brody asks, realtors here in the UK have a far lower commission on sales than in the US. As a result, should I bear this in mind and adapt the rates for my social media marketing services when targeting UK realtors? That's all you, bro. You're the real estate guy.
Dude, I've heard that, but I've never seen anything. Like, commission rates might not be as high as you think they are here. Like, average net commission rate for a realtor is like 2-3% on average.
Yep.
So I don't, like, what is it, like 1%?
Yeah.
And if that's the case, like, I don't know, dude. If it's 1%, if their commission's 1%, then you just need to work with realtors already doing a decent amount of volume.
That's all it is. Just shift who you're going after.
Yeah, just go after a little bit higher market.
Yep. Karan says, other than getting on calls and books, are there any other avenues to use in conjunction with those two to improve sales? That's a good question, man.
Dude,
first
thing, I've done a lot with that. Go give your thoughts first, though. I'm super curious.
I was just going to say, first of all, I got a couple thoughts. One, Brian knows I geek out over this, right? If you really want to get good at sales, like if you want a script, go elsewhere, right? But if you really want to get to an entirely different level of sales and the ability to communicate, what you need to do is you need to develop an understanding of how the human brain works, right? You need to figure out, why do people do what they do? What moves people to take action? How does the human psyche work, right? I always say, like, you want to be able to understand the chaos that is the human psyche so that you can be able to guide it in the direction that you choose. Now, that is something you need to be careful with, because if you get really good, you can be able to manipulate people like Brian was talking about before and, convince them to do things that aren't in their best interest. So don't be an unethical motherfucker. Number two is, this is what I think is probably one of the fastest ways to get better, not just at sales, but at anything, is to go out and find somebody, right, who has already done what you want to do, is where you want to be, has already developed a level of skill set that you want to develop, right, and simply zap into their mind, download essentially everything that they have, and go and put it into action for yourself. I think those are solid points. Brian probably has some additional thoughts. That's where I'd start. Take it away, dude.
The most tactical things that I've done to get better at sales is two things. One, I listen to a sales call every day, if not every other day.
Yep.
Usually I listen to like one that went well and one that I could have improved. And then, dude, for like 4 months, when I was working with James, one of the biggest reasons I enjoyed working with him is because I would listen to calls with him. And the act of like listening to a call with somebody else and both of us diagnosing where things could have gone better was huge. And then, dude, also like when I worked at Pinterest, I had managers that would listen to like almost every single phone call that I had and rip them apart. And so for the last year, I've made over 500, more than that, dude, probably over like a few thousand sales calls, and had like just consistently listened back to them and ripped them apart, right? Like, dude, if you watch how a quarterback becomes incredibly gifted as being a quarterback, is they literally record themselves and like watch back how they're throwing and how they reacted. And you do it on a micro and a macro level. So for you, Karan, like knowing where you're at, I think a big next step for you is going to be listening back to your calls and breaking them down even further.
Yep.
So, yeah, man.
100%.
Brody said, 1 to 1.5%. Dude, that's fine. Just like work with realtors who are not beginners and who are already selling homes over like 300, 400, 500K. And then just work with realtors who have been in the space a little bit and have some money in their savings account to play with for growth.
Yep.
And good at sales. Because like, dude, 1% of a $300,000 home is still $3,000. So.
Yep.
And then also, dude, I think you're overthinking it. I wouldn't charge less.
Yes, sir. Cool. Let's get some questions coming.
If not, dude, we'll hop off in a few minutes. I have to get off in 5 minutes. So.
Yeah, my computer's about to die, so we'll jump off here in like 5.
Classic.
I know, dude.
All right.
I'm gonna go get my second workout in too.
Any last minute questions?
You guys got about 30 seconds.
Dude, you know what? One of the reasons I love Karan, dude. Every single time I talk to him, he has a question.
Every time, bro. Every time we get on the group calls, like this guy just genuinely wants to get better every single day.
Yeah, it's so inspiring, honestly.
Yep.
But that's why he's crushing it. So
he's killing it, dude. Killing it.
Justin Nava, what's going on? You and I are talking on Thursday. Looking forward to it. He's probably super nervous now. He's just been listening to me talk about how I get into people's heads.
All right, y'all. No more questions?
Let's see. Joshua has a question. What is it, Josh? Oh, he hasn't posted it. Last question.
See what you got, bro. How do you take the convo from an intro?
To a call.
Wait on the second part. That's what I'm assuming. Yeah.
Ready? Open quote. Do you have time to chat for 15 minutes tomorrow at 3:30 p.m.? Question mark, close quote, send.
But bam. That's it, bro.
Don't overthink it. If you were asking a girl out on a second date, you wouldn't try and use some weird tactic. You would just be like, hey, what are you doing this Friday? You know what I'm saying? People are people, dude. You don't need anything fancy.
Nope.
All right, dude. I'm ready to hop off.
Me too, bro. I'm good.
Yeah, it's really that simple, Josh. Try it 100 times. Let me know how it goes.
All right, y'all. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.